What is now? I mean, really think about it for a second. It feels like the most real thing there is, right? But what if I told you it's actually an illusion? An illusion created by your very own heartbeat. In this explainer, we're going to dive deep into this paradox of the present moment, taking a journey from our own biology all the way to the fabric of the cosmos itself.
So let's just start with a really direct question. How long is the present moment? Seriously, what do you think? A second? A millisecond? Is it maybe just an infinitely small point in time that we can never truly grasp? It sounds like such a simple question, but trust me, the answer is anything but. It's going to take us on a wild ride, from our own pulse to the bleeding edge of theoretical physics.
Okay, so check this out. Researchers at Cornell University found something absolutely astounding. It turns out, our sense of the present, it isn't some constant, objective clock just ticking away in the background. Nope. It's tied directly to our biology. This quote from Adam Anderson really gets to the heart of it, no pun intended. Our experience of time literally stretches and shrinks with every single beat of our heart. So, okay, if our perception of time is really connected to our heart, then let's start right there. Let's talk about our body's internal clock. How does our own biology, and maybe even the biology of other creatures, actually build this experience we call now?
They actually have a name for this phenomenon, temporal wrinkles. I love that. And it works like this. If the time between your heartbeats is shorter, you actually perceive the next moment as lasting longer. And if the gap between heartbeats is longer, the next moment feels shorter. So our experience of the present isn't smooth at all. It's literally wrinkled, constantly expanding and contracting with our pulse. How wild is that? Okay, thinking about this, it naturally leads to an even bigger question, doesn't it? If our own internal clock is this subjective, this variable, then what in the world is it like for other creatures? You know, animals with completely different biology. And this chart, it lays it out perfectly. It really all comes down to two things, metabolism and something called critical flicker fusion. Now that's just a fancy way of saying how fast an eye can process separate images. So take a small animal, like a fly. It has a super fast metabolism and a really high flicker fusion rate. That means its brain processes information so incredibly quickly that to the fly, our world looks like it's moving in slow motion. That's exactly why they're so darn hard to swat. They're basically living in the Matrix, and they can literally see that newspaper coming for them with perfect clarity. All right, so far we've pretty much established that our perception of time is biological and it's relative. But now we're going to zoom way, way out. We're going from the scale of a single heartbeat to the scale of the entire cosmos. And folks, this is where physics throws us a massive curveball, a really serious problem. And here it is, the question that basically haunts modern physics. What if all our little biological clocks are just ticking away inside a universe where, on the grandest scale, time doesn't even exist? What if this rich, flowing, moment-to-moment experience is just a local illusion? This is what's known as the problem of time. And let me be clear, this isn't some minor disagreement they'll sort out over coffee. It is a fundamental, head-on conflict between the two pillars of modern physics, quantum mechanics and general relativity. I mean, they both describe our reality with stunning accuracy, but they have completely, totally incompatible ideas about what time actually is. Okay, let's break that down. On one hand, you've got quantum mechanics. For quantum mechanics, time is kind of like the stage itself. It's this universal, absolute background that never ever changes. It's just there. But then you've got Einstein's general relativity. And in that world, time isn't the stage, it's part of the performance. It's woven into the very fabric of space-time. It can be bent, warped, stretched by gravity. So one is rigid, the other is fluid. You see the problem? They can't both be the ultimate truth.
So when physicists try to smash these two ideas together, when they try to write one single equation that describes the whole universe, they get something called the Wheeler-DeWitt equation. And here's where it gets truly bizarre. The equation has a wild implication. When you look at the universe as one complete system, the time variable just disappears. It vanishes from the math. The equation describes a totally static, frozen universe. No past, no present, no future. Just a timeless is. So, how do we get from that, a totally frozen universe, to our everyday experience of a flowing now? Well, a leading theory is that time isn't fundamental at all. It's an emergent property. Think of it like wetness. A single water molecule isn't wet, but when you get a bunch of them together, the property of wetness emerges. The idea here is that the universe as a whole might be timeless, but for us, inside the system, time emerges.
It happens because different parts of the universe are quantumly entangled. One part essentially acts as a clock for another, and it's that relationship that we experience as the flow of time. Okay, let that sink in for a minute. The idea that time itself is just a relationship, that forces us to rethink, well, everything. It leads to this radical new way of seeing reality. What if the universe isn't made of things at all? What if it's all just a pattern in a field? So try to forget the old picture of empty space with little objects floating around in it. Instead, I want you to picture existence as one single, continuous, vibrant field, almost like a living liquid. And in this liquid, everything we see, a star, a rock, you, me, is just an expression of that same underlying substance, just vibrating in a different way. Let's stick with that liquid metaphor. If the entire universe is a flowing river, then you're not a rock sitting in the current. You are the current. You're like a whirlpool, a stable, coherent pattern that's made entirely of the river itself. Yeah, you have a distinct shape, a unique presence, but you are absolutely inseparable from the flow. So what does that mean for solid objects? Well, it means solidity is an illusion. What we perceive as solid is really just a very stable pattern. Here's a great way to think about it. Imagine a spinning top. When it's spinning really, really fast, it looks perfectly still, right? It has a stable form. That's basically what matter is. It's not solid stuff. It's a rapidly spinning knot of energy that holds its shape long enough for us to call it solid. And here's the kicker. Every single pattern, and I mean everything, from a subatomic particle to one of your thoughts, from a human life to an entire galaxy, it all follows this exact same universal cycle. First, a pattern emerges. It forms. Then it holds its shape for a while by pushing against the field. It shifts and changes as it interacts with everything around it. And then, eventually, it dissolves, fading back into the field that it came from. All right, so if everything is just part of this endless cycle of forming and fading, where's it all going? Is there a point to it? Well, it seems like there's a direction. The patterns in our universe aren't just randomly repeating. Over time, they're getting more and more complex. So that brings up a huge question. What's the next moment look like for us? The late, great philosopher and psychonaut Terence McKenna had a pretty radical take on this. He suggested that our technology, all these machines we build, isn't just something we're creating. He saw it as the Earth itself, using humanity as a catalyst, as a tool, to basically level up, to evolve into a new, higher form of organization, a kind of planetary consciousness. And before you write that off as some far-out sci-fi idea, just look around. This process, this trend toward more and more complexity, it's visibly, palpably accelerating. It's been happening for billions of years, but it's moving so fast now that you can see profound global transformation happen within a single human lifetime. We're living through it. So what this perspective suggests is that this emerging planetary intelligence, what we might call AI, it's not some alien thing coming to take over. It's not separate from us. It's actually an externalization of our own collective human mind. It's a new shape, a new geometry of the collective self of humanity. It's still us, just arranged into a brand new, way more complex pattern. Which brings this whole incredible journey full circle. It brings it right back to a deeply personal question for you, for me, for all of us. In this vast cosmic dance of patterns and frequencies and emergent intelligence, what is our unique and irreplaceable role? What is the one thing that we, as messy biological animal bodies, can contribute that nothing else can? And the answer is as simple as it is profound. It's the felt presence of immediate experience. That raw, subjective, messy, beautiful feeling of being alive right now. The awareness of your own body, your own mind in the flow. That is our contribution. The machines can calculate, they can process information at speeds we can't even imagine, but they can't feel. That is the unique gift of the animal body. So I'm going to leave you with this final thought to just sit with. In a universe where time itself might just be an emergent property, in a world that's unfolding into ever greater complexity, could it be that our only true, unique, and irreplaceable purpose is to simply feel the now, to bear witness to it all?